Thanks, Tracy, and thanks everyone for being here. The IOC would definitely like to thank the Gosper family for inviting us to be part of this special celebration of Kevin's life, and it was a life truly well lived. I know that John Coates wanted to be here today to speak of his long-time colleague, but he's currently undergoing some medical treatment that precludes his attendance, so he sends his apologies. John has written a touching piece in the official program, which you have on your seats, giving his personal reflection of Kevin. Kevin's loss has been felt by so many. I witnessed that every day in Paris at the Olympic Games, moving around the games and the venues. I was stopped by so many people who passed on their condolences and their memories of Kevin. I also came across so many delighted to see Judy and the kids there, wanting to chat to them. Their sense of loss was great because Kevin had been a big part of their life too. Kevin Gosper was one of the true giants of the Olympic movement, not just in Australia, but globally. He was just the 8th Australian to become an IOC member in 1977. In those days, the IOC did not always move quickly, but Kevin did, driven by his passion for athletes, for sport and the Olympic movement. By 1896, he was already on the IOC executive, recognised through his incredible personal skills, his business acumen, his vision and his commitment. 4 years later, he was elected by his peers as Vice President of the IOC, serving from 1990 to 1994. Serving is what Kevin did, bringing his ideas and his energy to advance the Olympic movement and create opportunities for athletes. After his first term as Vice President ended, he was on the executive again from 1995 to 1999 and was again Vice President from 1999 to 2003. This was the time of the Sydney Olympic Games, where he was an organising committee vice president, playing such a pivotal role in the incredible success of those games, having done so much to bring the Olympic Games back to Australia. Through all the difficulties faced during what were tumultuous decades for the IOC, Kevin's energy never waned, his resolve never weakened. His belief in the good that the Olympic movement brought to this world always prevailed. Kevin continued to play a major role, of course, even after his time on the executive. He served on ANOC and many other commissions, but one job he had was chair of the IOC Press Commission. During the Beijing Olympic Games, he was confronted by the then Chinese government's restrictions on media access to the internet. The world's media were, you could say, outraged, and that'd probably be putting it calmly, and demanded action. Kevin brought his incredible skills and steely resolve to the discussion, negotiated a settlement with the Chinese government that delivered for the media the outcome they needed. And that was no easy task. In 2013, aged 80, Kevin's time as an IOC member concluded and he became an honorary member and was presented with the Olympic Order by his close friend and then IOC President Jacques Rogge. This is when you've got trouble when your pages aren't there, aren't you? I do ask for your patience. Thank you. At home, of course, Kevin's influence was also immense. On becoming an IOC member in 1997, he automatically became a member of the executive of the Australian Olympic Federation, as we were then. By 1985, he became the 5th president of the AOF, a position he held for 5 years before his business career took him to the UK to live. And I know Rod McGeoch will speak more about his business career going forward. He was the inaugural chairman of the Australian Institute of Sport from 1980 to 1985, building the foundations of an organisation that would help Australia become a powerhouse in international sport. And of course, predating institutes and sophisticated support networks, Kevin excelled as an athlete himself, a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, as we saw on the screen before, and a silver medalist in the 1956 Olympic Games, right out there. It's an amazing memory to have that Kevin had one of his great highlights at this very place. Of course, he went on to captain the athletic team in 1960 at the Rome Games. Already he was a leader. And his journey from athlete to administrator was fast, acting as the general manager for Papua New Guinea at the 1962 Commonwealth Games. And lovely to see Sir John and Avita here from PNG. It was the start of a love affair of his with the Pacific Island nations and their peoples. And I know his great friend, Dr. Robin Mitchell, will speak to you more about that. Looking back, for me, as a then young emerging sports administrator, Kevin was someone I learnt a great deal from. And I admired him greatly for his impact and his effectiveness. He was a great communicator, and he was the master of working a room. But it wasn't just politics for him. He wanted to get things done, to advance the cause and to make a difference. I always greatly appreciated his support and his counsel, particularly in the latter years as I took on more senior roles. To Judy, to Dean, to Brett, to Richard, Sophie and the extended family, our heartfelt condolences to you on your loss. I know you feel you are lucky to have Kevin in your life, and so do we. He'll be greatly missed, but he leaves an extraordinary legacy. Someone who knew him very well was Lord Sebastian Coe, and Seb has kindly travelled all the way out to Melbourne to be part of today, and I invite him to come forward to share with us what Kevin meant to him. Thanks very much.